welcome to Monthly Marquee without Bart Lovins. Bart is not here. Once again, you get me, Aaron Taylor, Technical Director of the PAC. This is the second month in a row that Bart has not been here, in case you're filling out your bingo card. So I'm thrilled to be here. Very fortunate to get to do this. So thank you, Bart. Today we are joined by Ellie Smith.
Hello.
That's Ellie right there. Ellie is a junior?
Yes.
Junior at Central Hardin.
Yes.
But you also go to?
The Academy.
What is the Academy? Tell people that.
The Academy is an early college center, so I'm going to graduate high school with my associate's degree, hopefully. But it's basically this place where all three high schools in Hardin County, John, North, and Central, send like their top students if they've met the requirements.
Top students.
If they met the requirements and they wanted to do it, to get their associate's degree.
You are in Cary.
Yes.
And you play?
Cary.
You are Cary. Cary White. Amazing. Now, when we're talking about Cary, this is a collaboration. This isn't just Central Hardin Drama. This is a collaboration between Central Hardin Drama and Hardin County Playhouse. So you've worked with Central Hardin Drama. Have you done anything with Hardin County Playhouse before?
This is my first ever Hardin County Playhouse show. I've watched plenty of them because my brother Jackson has done plenty of shows.
I've heard of him. Well, speaking of that, you got into this because of your brother, right?
Yes.
So what is it like to kind of follow and do what he's doing and then emerge as your own kind of thing and get out from under that shadow? Because he did a lot of productions, still does a lot of productions.
Go see Mary Poppins.
Go see Mary Poppins. He's in that. He's my Roberts and I. One more week, maybe. When this comes out, it's probably over. But, so you've kind of cut your own path, right?
It's been very intimidating to follow Jackson, especially because women's perspective of theater is very different from men's perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's a lot more competitive. And then my brother is immensely talented, and so it's funny. I've had so many people introduce me where they're like, this is Jackson's little sister. And it's been fun. Dakin gives us these cards at the end of shows, and in recent years it's been like in its notes for all of her actors, and I believe that the tech crew gets them as well. Yeah. And I love this tradition, but it's a lot of them recently have been her saying how much she loves watching me become emerge as my own actor and become something more than Jackson's sister. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really cool. I feel like a lot of people just don't know what I can do, and most people don't connect that I'm Jack's sister because we don't look anything alike.
Well, having had the opportunity to work with Jackson on several productions, and now you with one, Matilda in Youth Theater of Hardin County, it's really fun to see you. I agree with Sarah, to see you on this journey of your own that he kind of opened the door for. And now here you are, Cary White, the lead in Cary the Musical, coming up. Were you familiar with the source material before you went into this audition?
So I've been aware of Cary and the musical for a while. I've never watched the movie. I'm not a horror movie fan.
Did you know it as the musical first?
So yes.
Fascinating.
I think so. I've been listening to The World According to Chris for a long time. And so I was aware of the musical. I've been more so aware of them as separate, things. Yeah. And then putting them together as one and watching all these video essays and, the kill counts, which describe, the production process and, obviously, who dies in the show.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. No one dies.
If you know, it's fascinating. I grew up, I was a huge horror fan. I love Stephen King, so I was there with Carrie really young, and then when it became a musical, I was like, well, how do you sing about this? How do you sing about pouring blood all over? Spoiler alert!
You don't.
At the prom, and I saw a production of it. It's an amazing musical. The songs are terrific, and it's just as gory as you want it to be. If you want a lot of blood, you can have it. I mean, they capture the essence of the movie, and it's just really well done. I think that's really cool that you kind of came at it from the musical perspective. Do you plan on seeing the original movie?
Me and my mom started watching the remake a bit ago, and that's just because it was the one that popped up.
Yeah.
And it's funny that I play Carrie because I am a scaredy cat. Like, I don't really like watching horror movies. I'm afraid of jump scares.
Yeah.
And I don't go to, like, haunted houses.
Yeah.
And then I'm playing the lead in a horror show.
Well, but it's fun to, then you can just take it off and go home and be you again.
Yeah.
And I love, even though it's, obviously this girl with these telekinetic powers, I think the message of Carrie is really about, learning that it's okay to be different. You got to be yourself. And I think that strikes true with a lot of people. That's what I dig about it. Even though it's wrapped in this horror package, it's kind of a morality play.
I think that Carrie is, like, a really good, musical because so many people in theater can relate to it because, let's be real, a lot of us have been bullied, and it's not nice because bullying's never nice.
Nope.
And sometimes when you see people talking about Carrie, they believe that Carrie's the villain.
Right.
And I think that that's a very strange perspective to have. And when you're performing a role, you're likely to be your character's, like, attorney. Like, oh, everything is defendable. Like, because you don't, even if you're playing the villain, you want to come at it from a moral perspective of why you would do that.
Yeah, you don't play it to play the villain. You play it as making the right choices for that character.
But I think it's very strange when people think that Carrie's the villain, because it's very much, if she's a villain, she's a villain from circumstance.
Yeah, she's really one of the most sympathetic characters in the show.
Yes.
I mean, you feel really bad for her. You do. You think she's terrible because, if you know what happens in the end, you're like, how could she do that? But if you see what leads her to that, that's excellent point. Excellent point. So when does Carrie open?
Carrie opens on the 17th of October at Hardin County Playhouse.
And that's in the HCEC Science Auditorium.
Yes.
Runs that weekend, 17th, 18th, 19th, matinee on the 20th.
Yes.
And then the next week it moves over to the PAC. They're going to be at Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center on the 25th and 26th. So my advice to you is see it in both places, because it's going to be the same show, but it's going to be totally different.
Yes. It will be a lot more like audience interaction at HCP, and if you are more interested in being scared, I would see it at Hardin County Playhouse.
Nice. And it's close, because it's close over there.
And like all of like the parts that are like really like bam and like in your face will actually be in your face.
Bring your face, because this show's going to be in them. Carrie, coming up. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to the monthly Marquee without Bart Lovins. I'm Aaron Taylor. I don't know if you went anywhere. I didn't. I stayed right here. And right now we are talking with Kara Anderson, who plays
Margaret White.
Margaret White in Carrie. Now, we just talked with Ellie, and Ellie made a really good point that people who aren't that familiar go into something like Carrie the Musical thinking Carrie's the bad guy. And in my opinion, there's someone that's much worse in the show.
Absolutely. Margaret White, I think, is definitely the villain in this musical. I will say I have some empathy for her, though.
Well,
Or
you
sympathy.
have to. You
Yeah.
have to, though.
I think she is a firm believer in what she believes,
Yeah.
and I actually think she thinks she's doing what's best for Carrie,
well,
which
and-
is really strange if you
and-
know what happens.
Well, that's what really makes the best villains. You know, we talked a little bit about that with Ellie. I don't think you can play a villain and go, I'm just going to be mean.
Right.
You can't. You have to find something sympathetic in them. You have to believe that they are doing the right thing. And I think Margaret completely believes that. Now, Piper Laurie played her in the movie.
Yes.
You've seen the movie.
Yes.
Was that intimidating? Because you talk about a powerhouse. Did you watch that and get a little inspired? Did you draw something or go, okay, but let's do our own thing?
I think that when I was preparing to do the character Margaret, I feel like I blended her character in the movie as well as Marin Maisie. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Oh, I think you're right, yes.
In Carrie the Musical on Broadway.
Right.
And what I think is so cool is they're very different. Like the movie mom is she's more shrewd. She's
Yeah.
more. You can't sympathize with her as much.
No.
But in the musical, especially with like the songs that
Yeah.
I'll be singing, you really do relate, especially moms out there. I'm not a mom, but if I were, I feel like I would really relate to the lyrics in the songs. But yeah, I think I took kind of a mix of both of those, and then also threw a little of my own in there.
Sprinkle it in.
Yeah, sprinkle a little of me.
And I think that raises a really good point, that if you just watch the original movie, you've got no way to really see her inner voice. You read the book, you understand her motivations. That's why I like the musical, because through her songs, you do start to understand her as a character and what she's doing, even though she's terrible.
Yes, yeah. And even, even understand, you see her as a mom, you know, she's a mom who has this daughter with these powers that nobody else has,
Yeah.
and she has these beliefs as to why that happened,
Yeah.
and she doesn't know what to do about it. So she calls on her very extreme faith, and it just doesn't work out very well, but
Right.
that's what she thought she needed to do.
And it's fascinating because it comes from a place of good intentions. She's a mother wanting to protect her daughter, and it just gets misplaced very quickly.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of the things that she says end up happening, which makes it worse for Carrie.
Yeah.
Because she's, saying all these things that sound so mean.
Right.
Like they're going to laugh at you.
It sounds so extreme.
Sounds so mean. And then it happens.
Whoops.
And it's like,
Yeah.
she definitely doesn't go about it the right way, but
Yeah.
she was right.
Long story
She
short,
was right.
and that's, that happens
And that's sad.
as an adult, at working with students, being a parent. Sometimes you feel like you're speaking of the ghost of Christmas. You feel like you're
Yeah.
trying to tell them, but you can't affect that change sometimes, even
Right.
though it seems clear as day to you where this is going to head. People got to make their own mistakes and
Right.
figure it out. And in Carrie, that goes to the extreme.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so you've worked with Hardin County Playhouse before. You've been on that stage there.
Yeah.
Haven't been to the PAC before.
I have not.
Are you excited about setting foot over there?
I'm very excited about going on the PAC stage. Like, we went to see Mary Poppins, and it just got me even more excited. It's so professional.
Oh, it's not, because I work there. I love the PAC. I'm going on almost 20 years there now, and it still is. It's a wonder to me. I love to come in there every day and see the different things that come. I'm so anxious to see how Sarah Dakin is going to translate it from that stage to ours, which we've done once before in this type of collaboration when she did the Crucible, but she did it at the PAC first and then moved it to
And then moved
ECTC.
over. Yeah.
So I'm anxious to see how it goes the other way,
Yeah.
because the ECTC Science Auditorium is a very intimate space. As Ellie pointed out, it is right in your face,
Yeah.
which is why I think horror and scary stuff works there really well. So to see it translate over to the pack where there's a little more separation from the stage to the audience, but I'm sure she's got stuff up her sleeve that's really going to roll it in.
Oh, Sarah's going to do a great job. I did Heather's with Sarah, and I was so impressed with how she was able. People respond to her so well, like all different types of people, and she just knows how to. She just knows how to do what she does.
And she, you know, it's all swirling over her head, the whole picture, all the time.
Right.
She's got a really good track of knowing when this and that and the timing and everything. Fascinating to watch as a process. How's it been working with Ellie, who plays your daughter, who plays Carrie?
Ellie has been great. One of the things that I was a little concerned about is that obviously there is some very intense moments between Margaret and Carrie, and I don't want to cross a boundary, you know. I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable, and so, but she has been amazing, and it has been her idea for a lot of the more physical parts of our interactions, and so that's really great for me because I know I'm not pushing her to do something that she's uncomfortable with. But I mean, she is a wonderful Carrie. She's going to be so much fun to watch, and it's really fun to see her do her thing.
And as you said, there are some intense scenes, and step one to that is making sure you both know it's safe. I'm here to take care of you. Nothing's going to happen. And when that stuff happens on stage, when both of your actors trust each other enough to really go to the physical stuff or whatever needs to be done to fulfill those kind of intense scenes, really just adds that weight to it. It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
And then what's next?
What's next as far as musical stuff?
Sure, what do you got? You got anything in your sights?
I would love to do Mamma Mia. I would love to do Chicago. So I think that's something that y'all need to get to
Put
work
it out
on.
there.
Yeah, I'm going to put it out there. And there's a lot of other stuff I'd like to do too, but those are just the two that like I've been listening to some of the stuff on my
on
tracks.
the list.
Yeah, well, they have, you know, roles for mature women, you know, and so
Which you're hoping to be someday, mature.
One of these days, you know, I might be able to make it there. So, but yeah, those are obviously just two that, a mature woman could.
They're great shows.
Yeah.
You talk about catchy music. Kara Anderson, not Carrie White, Margaret White in Carrie, the musical, coming up at HCEC and the Pack. October 17th it opens, moves to the Pack the next week, October 25th. Check it out. It's going to be awesome. Welcome back to Monthly Marquee without Bart Lovins. Aaron Taylor here. I'm joined by Sarah Dakin from Central Hardin Drama, who is directing
Carrie the Musical.
Carrie the Musical. Come on, for October?
For October, and it's actually a collaboration. It's Central Hardin and Hardin County Playhouse. People may have noticed Central Hardin is under construction, and we don't really have anywhere to rehearse at school at the very moment. Hopefully the library will open in October.
So is that what spurred you wanting to make it a collaboration?
I mean, like, Carrie's been on my list for a while. And I knew it was one, much like the collaboration we did with HCP with Crucible. It's one that I couldn't just have other kids play the adult characters. It wouldn't make sense.
Right.
And so over winter, Brandon, who's now the board president at HCP, reached out and was like, so we're trying to figure out this season, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I don't know, because I don't know where I can rehearse yet. And then it was like, oh, maybe I can come to you and rehearse there, and this is a good time for a collaboration. So it was kind of like all those things converging.
See, that's what I was talking about earlier with Kara, that working with you, you know Sarah just has all of the pieces moving, and you're that far ahead. Last year, you knew all this was coming, so you're like, no, let's collaborate. That's how far ahead you think with these things. And juggling, I'm very anxious to see how you work it going from ECTC to the PAC stage.
And that's really fun. And honestly, like at this point, you know, with the telekinesis stuff, we worked out a way we could do it at ECTC, and I kind of really like the way we're doing it at ECTC, and I still want to do it in a more technical, making stuff fly and stuff way at the PAC, but like I'm almost going to miss how we're
Yeah.
taking care of it at the college.
Well, and that's what I've been telling our audience at home, that they probably need to see it in both places, because it's going to be the same show but completely different.
And then it supports both organizations.
Right.
Because the proceeds from the first weekend go to HCP and the proceeds from the second weekend go to us. So
See?
There you
So
go.
you got to check them both out. And so you say this has been on your list a while.
it has, I'm not really a horror fan.
Right.
But, I've done Spring Awakening, I've done Heathers. I like dark musicals about teenagers and about how hard the world is,
And they
right?
don't come much darker and harder than this.
Yeah, like I've progressively killed more people every time, right?
Right.
So, but we're also in the spring going to do a collection of shorts called the Bully Plays. So we're tying our whole year together to
Nice.
this bullying issue,
Okay.
which is so huge. And then, of course, as everybody knows right now, like threats of school violence are on the rise
Everywhere. And
everywhere right now.
do it on the internet. It's the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah. So, to have a story where, 50 years ago, this was not on anybody's radar.
Yeah.
And every day, we were at rehearsal the other night and somebody coming late to us from cheerleading practice banged on the door and we all jumped. Right. And that's just the world we live in today,
Yeah.
So Carrie, in that context, is different.
Yeah.
You bully the kid until they snap is the world we live in, unfortunately, today.
And well, that's, even though it's got those supernatural elements and that horror we were talking earlier, that it's something people can relate to. Like you say, it's now, it's what's happening. Kids getting bullied all the time. Fortunately, not with telekinetic power so much, but kids can snap. And I think Carrie is a very sympathetic character, because I think a lot of people, and as Ellie pointed out, kids in theater too, any group, you get picked on by another group, and you know what it feels like to be that outcast.
And Ellie's doing such a good job of being a real person. We talk about with the different movie versions and stuff,
Yeah.
how there are different ways to approach her. And the remake, she's much more she seems a little crazy the whole time, where, Ellie is just part of the reason she was the perfect choice is she can bring herself that's totally lovable, sometimes a little bit awkward, into being this real person,
Yeah.
And it really just makes you want to be on our side. And the great, my favorite thing about the musical is the structure of it. Much like if you've read the book and they pull in all the the White Commission and all the research about it
Yeah.
and stuff, it's all already happened before the musical begins.
Right.
And yet it still makes us feel like, oh, maybe they can make her life better this time.
Yes.
But we know it's already happened.
You know where it's headed as soon as it starts. And one of the things I like about the music, because I was reluctant when I went and saw the musical. I love the book, I love the first movie, and I'm like, that's all I need.
Right.
And I'm like, who wants to see them singing? And going to the musical the first time blew me away, because what it can do, and we talked a little about this with Kara, is it lets you see those inner voices, that when you're
Yes.
reading, you get the motivation and you understand where people are coming from. A musical just helps you do. The movie, pretty straightforward. Piper Laurie's crazy.
Right.
But when you see the musical, the mom becomes a more sympathetic character. Even though she's terrible, you start to understand her motivations of just wanting to protect her daughter, which is what any parent's going to do. Of course, she pushes it to the extreme.
Well, and when you sing, you transcend that emotion.
Yeah.
And then they sing together.
Yeah.
And then we see them fighting, so there are just so many levels that can happen with the musical. You mentioned the book. We're doing this thing at the public library where we're going to do a little bit of this is what happens in the book, and this
Yeah.
is how this part looks in the show. And that's been really fun for me. I feel like it's almost like going to the primary source when you're doing something historical, that I'll be like, well, you know, but in the book, this is how this happens.
Yeah.
So how does that inform your interpretation
Right.
of what you're saying right now?
Right. We did that a little bit with Misery last year when Moira
Right.
and I were in it. She read the book first and then went, I think we need to pull this part out. So it just gives you a nice resource to go to. And we talked a lot about the play between Kara and Ellie and how you do such a good job of making your actors feel safe, going into dealing with such traumatic things.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, if you're not safe and prepared, then it's not worth doing.
Well, and even like we had such a fun time last week. We staged the destruction, and you know, and I came in rehearsal and I said, I feel terrible telling you guys how much fun I had planning how all of you die, but that was a blast to set up.
Yeah.
But you know, we start running it and everybody's screaming. I was like, we have to be in control of this, guys,
Yeah.
because we want them to scream.
Yeah.
But she still has to sing. We gotta be able to,
Yeah.
you know, make this happen the way it's supposed to, or it'll just fall apart.
Right, and it's got to be in control, number one, always. It can't just be, and just run.
Right.
And you're right, though, you can have fun with it. I mean, like you and I this last Saturday were sitting at a soccer game comparing blood recipes.
Right.
You can have fun with this kind of stuff, and looking forward to it. And it comes out at ECTC, opens.
October 17th. So we're there. We actually open on a Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the Sunday matinee there.
Right.
And then we get one day off. And then we're going to be in the PAC. We get more tech rehearsals at the PAC. You know, sometimes when you do a 2-week show, you wouldn't necessarily rehearse that whole second week.
Right.
But it's going to be a different show.
Yeah.
I mean, totally different shape.
Yep.
When we staged it, you know, I'd say, okay, I'm going to tell you both ways this looks, but if you only want to think about the first one
Sure.
right now, that's fine.
Yeah.
We got time. And then so we have a school day show. And we've got the sophomores from Central Hardin are coming. We got some small groups, but we still have room if
Great.
people want to bring it. Just keep in mind it's a PG-13 show. There is some language. There's obviously violence. There's abuse. There's bullying. So it's a heavy show. And then we've got that Friday night, the 25th, and a matinee at 4 on the 26th at the PAC.
And if you want tickets for ECTC, you want to see it over there with Hardin County Playhouse, call 351-0577. And if you want to see it at the PAC, where the proceeds go to Central Hardin Drama, go to thepac.net or call us at 270-769-8837. Yes?
Yes.
That's it. Sarah Dakin, director of Carrie the Musical.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again for joining us for the monthly Marquee without Bart Lovins. I'm Aaron Taylor, technical director at the PAC. We talked about Carrie the Musical. That's coming out very soon in 2 different places. October 17th, it opens at ECTC Science Auditorium and runs that weekend. And then the next weekend, it'll be at the PAC, October 25th and 26th. If you want to see it at ECTC, you can call Hardin County Playhouse at 351-0577. And if you want to see it at the PAC the next weekend, go to our website, thepac.net, or you can call us, 270-769-8837. And you can also, by going to our website, look at what else we have coming up in October. The Heartland Songwriters return on October 19th. We are very excited about that. They were with us in the spring and wanted to return this fall. Amazing show, lots of local talent, lots of original music. It's worth coming out to see. And then we'll also have John Hardin High School Chorus and Drama coming in for 2 shows at the end of October. Once we get past fall break, it moves. We get picking up speed. Come see us at the PAC.